What's up, Internet? My name's Nerdy.
And I'm Clarus.
And this is the 100 and something, but more importantly, the return of the Nightly Morning Show. Because we get Nerdy Nightly.
And we thought we'd share it with you.
Yeah. That is right. Welcome back to the long-awaited, I hope,
long awaited for us,
return of the Nightly Morning Show, our show where we just talk about the news, we talk about ourselves, we talk about the world, and I start off by asking the big question of the week. Clarus, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. It's a Monday. It's like kind of, oh no, it's actually sunny outside today. It's winter. We're back in lockdown, so I'm getting like OG morning show vibes from that. But it's nice to be back.
Yeah, it's funny. When we first started the morning show, it was because we had just moved to Toronto and we literally could not go outside. We were like locked inside.
Yeah.
And we were in full lockdown and we were like, well, if we're going to be here every day, we might as well do a morning show where we like just talk about stuff we want to talk about. And the first 100, for those of you who might be new to this, the first 100 episodes we did as Monday through Friday every morning.
Yeah.
5 days a week. We did 100 of those.
Yeah.
We didn't miss a single one, including the DMV episode. And so now it's good to be back. Once a week, we're going to be back Monday mornings talking about everything going on in the world. You ready to get into it?
Hell yeah.
Unfortunately, today we do have to start with some... I want to get this out of the way first. Not out of the way, but I do want to talk about this first. I want to acknowledge the passing of some celebrated legends within the entertainment community. Since we last were together, we lost some very, very important people to the world of entertainment. And first of all, right before the new year, we lost Betty White, the incredible 99-year-old entertainment professional, the absolute boss of entertainment. And, just weeks before her 100th birthday, I think that there was a lot of people hoping she would get to that 100. I think that was going to be like a group celebration.
Yeah. Yeah.
Were you a Golden Girls watcher?
No.
Really? Have you ever seen Betty White in anything?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
That's kind of amazing.
Yeah, but honestly, no.
I feel like that's going to be true of all three people we're going to talk about.
What's amazing is that I've never seen her in anything, but I know who she is.
Well, because she's a legend.
Yeah, but I mean, like, it's me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know who anybody is.
Yeah, that's true. You knowing who she is really does put her on a very short list of celebrities.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, the thing about Betty White that will always stick in my brain is the SNL skit where she's talking about her muffin. I'm not going to get into it because it's probably too graphic for YouTube, but Betty White talking about her muffin is one of the funniest. It's one of the hardest times I've ever laughed at an inappropriate joke in front of my parents. You know what I mean? It was one of those times I was watching with my mom and my stepdad, and like I knew that they would not like that I found it as funny as I did, but they were also God,
couldn't help yourself.
But also like Golden Girls is just a treat, and even Hot in Cleveland is really fantastic. Particularly the Betty White parts. She was such a legend. Unfortunately, we also more recently on January 6th lost the luminary actor Sidney Poitier. And for those of you who don't know, Sidney Poitier was the first African American to win Best Actor at the Academy Awards for his role in the movie Lilies in the Field or of the Field.
I'm not sure.
I just looked it up to make sure I got it right. Literally, I was like, I want to make sure I get the title right, and then I think I messed it up. But, Sidney Poitier, I mean, Raisin in the Sun is just... I don't even know what to say about it, right? He is truly... He stands tall as a titan in this industry. And I'm assuming you've never seen him in something, because you don't watch a lot of classic film.
No. Is anyone surprised? No.
All right, and last, but certainly not least, and most shocking on this list, I think the other two were in their 90s. They lived huge, titanic lives, and they will very much be missed. But unfortunately, yesterday we got the incredibly sad news that Bob Saggett passed away.
Yeah.
Bob Saggett was Danny Tanner on Full House, as well as being, in my childhood, the host of the America's Funniest Home Videos, which was something I watched all the time. And
It was a fun show.
it was a fun show. And I just, the death of Bob Saget led to the most insane revelation in our household, though, which is that Clarus doesn't believe that Ted Mosby is voiced by a different person in the present than he is in the show.
No, it's fake news. He does not, because he doesn't, to me, he sounds the same, just different audio quality. Because he's like in an audio booth versus like...
He's very much a different
live.
human.
I have been told this. I don't believe it.
Do you also believe that Ron Howard didn't narrate Arrested Development?
I don't know.
You have no idea what I'm talking.
No, I've watched Arrested Development.
You did?
Yeah, I actually watched that one.
Wow.
I know.
Y'all.
I know. Be proud of me.
Yeah, I want to point out, Eric in our chat said Sidney Poitier was basically Denzel before Denzel. Yes. Denzel Washington doesn't get to be Denzel Washington without Sidney Poitier. And I don't think Denzel Washington would be upset that I said that. I think he would 100% agree.
Yeah.
Sidney Poitier laid, like, the brick for so many incredible artists.
Definitely.
And did it with class and, like, poise and... Yeah. Yeah. All right. I did want to bring all of that up. Unfortunately, it is kind of a sad way to start our show back, but these are people who they changed the world, and they deserve to be remembered. They changed my world, certainly. As someone who grew up as a dumb little kid who just wanted to make people laugh, Bob Saget and Betty White are two of the most important people for that. And then as an older teenager who got more into the acting side and more into the deeper stuff, Sidney Poitier to me was like so far beyond what I could ever become. I will never be that good, but I don't know that anyone will, and I think we all just kind of have to be okay with that.
Yeah.
Should we get into some news?
Let's do it.
All right, y'all. It's time to talk about the nerd news. But before we do that, we have to talk about arguably the best news of the day, which is that the Crimson Tide is rolling into the national championship tonight. Let's go, Tide. All right. What are you doing?
I thought I could move a little bit.
That is right. The Alabama Crimson Tide will be playing the Georgia Bulldogs in the national championship football match for college football tonight. If you want to know what I'll be doing, I'll be on my couch watching, because I did not go to Alabama. I am not from Alabama, but my family is. And if I didn't roll Tide, they would be very upset with me. And so congrats to you, Crimson Tide. We crushed the Bulldogs a month ago. All you have to do is go out and do the same thing again.
Sports.
That one was just for me. But this one is, this next conversation is something that I hope to get into with you, which is the incredible news, huge news, that Take-Two, the company that owns 2K and Rockstar, which produces Grand Theft Auto, has purchased Zynga, the mobile company, not Buzzinga, that's trademarked, has purchased Zynga for $12.7 billion. This is the largest video game...
Spicy.
This is the largest video game company acquisition in the history of the world. The previous one was Microsoft did Bethesda for 8.1, which was then beat when Tencent purchased Supercell for 8.6.
I didn't know that happened.
But this is a full, those are 60% of this purchase. Do you think mobile games are worth $12.7 billion?
Apparently they are.
They are.
I wouldn't have thought, but the communism has spoken.
Communism?
No. There's another C word.
Capitalism?
Capitalism has spoken. Guys, it's before noon.
Those are not the same thing.
They are both C words, and they're long. And so my brain is like, yeah, that's the same thing.
Communism has spoken.
I just, I can't even, fathom a fraction of 12.7 billion.
Yeah, I can't either.
You know what I mean? I can barely grasp the idea of, $5,000.
Yeah, and I was reading the article about it, and there was something about how the shares are worth like $4, but the people who owned the shares, instead of getting paid for the shares, were paid partially for the share, but then also given part of it in Take-Two stock. And it just became this like insane thing where I was like, this is so much money, and the way that this is trading is happening in a way that is so far beyond my ability to understand it that I just gave up. And I was like, okay, big company purchased big company.
Yeah, I'm like, that is like a level that I don't think I'll ever be able to comprehend.
Our chat really wants you to know that those are very much opposites.
No. Chrysanthemum, communism, and capitalism are all the same thing.
Chrysanthemum.
Yeah.
We have to be careful with our C words, though. There's a couple C words we maybe shouldn't use on the show.
I don't know what you're talking about. Not a clue.
No idea? Not one?
Idea.
Not one idea?
Not a single one, no.
I just realized I don't have my iPad to read the news. I plugged it in to charge it, and then I didn't grab it.
Babe.
Entertain people for 1 second. I'll be right back.
All right, sounds good. So wait. Zynga made which game? Do you remember?
Most mobile games.
Most mobile games. I don't play mobile games. The last mobile game that I really hardcore was into, I guess, was this like Thieves Guild one where you made a dungeon and you tried to break in other people's dungeons. And then before that, it was like Temple Run. I guess Candy Crush I played. But like, I have not played an actual mobile game in like 5-6 years maybe. I don't know. Yeah, I don't. Oh, you just looking at your auditions?
Yeah, I got an audition. Okay, so this will be fun. I got an audition. I got a call from my agent, like 5 minutes before the show started, and she was like, "Hey, so you have an audition?" And I was like, "Oh, cool. What for?" And she's like, "I can't tell you. You're not allowed to know until you sign an NDA." But now I have it, and I'm like, I don't think I needed an NDA for this, but that's fine. Some people think they're more important than they are.
Wow, if you book this and they go back and listen to your content.
Oh no. Is the company that I can't mention going to go back and watch the nightly morning show?
You never know.
Watch, one of you is gonna like pull this out and be like, hey, whatever. By the time they figure it out, I'll have already filmed it and gotten paid. So what are they gonna do?
Priorities.
There's just times, like, if, like, Marvel reaches out, I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll sign an NDA. I get it. You have secrets to keep. But, like, if it's, like...
Keep your secrets.
If it's season 1 of new television show, all right.
Oh, is it a new... Yeah. Okay, cool.
I'm probably not allowed to say that.
Probably not allowed to say that.
Whatever. Yeah. Here's the thing. I'm never going to book it, and no one's going to know what it is, right? Like... This went off the rails. Already, what a great start to the show today.
We're crushing it.
Crushing it. Hail to the Chrysanthemum Party. Yeah, we're gonna start a new political party.
It's gonna be following the way of the leaf, and it's gonna be called the Chrysanthemum Party.
I kind of hate that.
Nah, you love it.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the weekend box office. We'd like to talk about how... our Stream Deck is broken. I need to reinstall this Stream Deck software, apparently. But let's talk about the weekend box office, because, Clarus, would you be surprised to hear that Spider-Man No Way Home won again?
Oh, no. That's not a surprise.
That's right. For the 4th weekend in a row, Spider-Man No Way Home... Wow, we're way out of practice of this.
I know.
We used to be so good at this.
I know. What's happened to us?
You take a few months off, and then suddenly you, like, can't do it. Spider-Man No Way Home came in with a lovely $33 million in its 4th weekend.
Just a lovely 33.
Its domestic haul is at $668 million.
Jesus.
$668 million. Just domestic. That's just in the United States and Canada, because we count.
Because we are important, goddammit.
Well, I just love that we are not considered international when it comes to box office.
Yeah.
Because, I don't know.
We're the outfit that completes the United States.
Yeah, we're the top hat.
Yeah. don't know why we're not our own thing, but it's fine. I'll get over it.
Sing 2 came in with $11.95 million in its third week. I forgot that Sing 2 came out.
Oh, the one that we kept seeing commercials for.
Yeah, those trailers were literally everywhere, and then I forgot about it.
I forgot about it too. Oops.
Yeah.
We weren't planning to go see it, were we?
No, I really like the first one, but you haven't seen it. So.
I haven't seen the first one. I have to catch up.
Yeah. But the second one looks like a very weird, like, like the first one is like this small, like, interesting film about a small town, and then the second one is like, but what if they went to Vegas and created the largest show ever? And you're like, those are...
The second one looks insane.
It looks insane, which kind of makes me want to see it more.
I know. I'm like, hopefully it did it all right.
But yeah, I did really like the first one, and Taron Egerton can sing. That was where I learned, like, Taron Egerton can, like, sing, like, really. Ooh.
Sing.
But in number 3 this weekend, the big box office bomb of the weekend, the 355, the new all-female team spy movie that it looks like it's trying to be a more adult Charlie's Angels, was a massive flop, unfortunately, with $4.8 million opening weekend. Apparently, the movie had a budget near $75 million.
Oh.
And so 4.5 opening, or 4.8, sorry, opening is what we call in Canada a disaster. That has to be mostly due to the Omicron variant and a lot of the restrictions that are being put in place. I don't think you can blame the stars of this movie or even the plot. I liked the trailers.
Yeah.
Sebastian Stan's in the film. Like, I want to go see it. But here in Ontario, where we are, if you go to the movies, you can't have anything to eat or drink. You have to keep your mask on the whole time. It's an uncomfortable experience.
And people are not wanting to go out right now because everybody's getting sick.
Everybody, like, literally everyone I know is either testing or has it.
Yeah. Or is just finished getting over it. Like, it's kind of wild because at the beginning of things it was like you knew like one or two or like a handful of people or whatever, and now it feels like everybody.
Well, it just feels like every conversation you have is like people talking about who they know who has Omicron.
Yeah.
And so I think that 355, Morbius obviously pushed back, which I think was a really smart move for Morbius. I think that I'm worried about Scream 5. Scream 5 comes out this week. I am like legitimately concerned about the prospects for that movie. I am a huge fan of the Scream franchise. It is maybe my favorite horror franchise. And I know that it's horror comedy. I know there's like comedy elements and it's not as hardcore as other horror movies, but that's kind of what I like about it. I like that it is horror, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And I just think that the Scream, especially with the return to form in Scream 4 after Scream 3 was not as good a movie as the first two. I love Scream. I really do. I love horror, but Scream is like my horror. And so I'm concerned for the movie. I want it to do well because I really do love the franchise. Yeah. And I'm concerned that the only reason it's not going to do well, because the trailers look good, the original cast is mostly returned for it. Like, there's a lot of things going for it. The big downside is going to be Omicron, and that sucks to watch happen to a franchise that I love as much as I do.
It's interesting because I haven't like heard anything about it or seen any commercials for it. Like, I haven't seen it anywhere. Not even as like banners or ads on like websites or anything. No like YouTube ads, no Twitch ads. Like, I haven't seen any advertisement for this movie.
Yeah, that's actually true too. Like, I go looking for it and like I get fed it by the algorithm because I watch horror. But I also wonder if you avoiding horror completely means the algorithm just doesn't send it to you. I don't know. It's one of those things where I think for something like Twitch and YouTube, everyone kind of sees mostly the same things. But... Sokar is asking, there is a Scream 5. Yes, Scream 5 is just called Scream for some reason. Even though the...
5 Cream.
5 Cream.
Yeah, that's it. It's 5 Cream.
But that does come out on Thursday, unless it gets pushed back. Unless it's, like, I don't think so. As far as I know, it is still coming out on Thursday, so...
Brave of them.
Yeah. It is brave.
Yeah. All right. What was number 4 at the box office?
The King's Man.
That movie.
Yeah, The King's Man is doing all right. It's made $25 million so far. It made $3.27 million this weekend in its third weekend. It only dropped 28% though from its last weekend, which I think is more to do with the fact that people aren't going to the box office, so it's harder to have a big drop.
That came out the same day as Matrix, right?
Yes, it did. Okay. But it is tracking significantly ahead of The Matrix in later weeks, even though The Matrix's opening weekend does put The Matrix ahead. The Matrix isn't even in the top 5. American Underdog the Zachary Levi story about the football player, Warner, is in number 5 this week in its 4th weekend. And that is at $2.4 million. The Matrix only pulled in $1.86 million and has only pulled in $34 million overall so far.
Oof.
Yeah, The Matrix, I think, was a $200 million movie. So the question on everybody's mind, at least on the internet, is, are we going to get more Matrix?
Absolutely not. There's no way. Like, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
If this had been received well, maybe. But even then, like, when you... I'm trying to think. Are there any other franchises that have, like, years and years later brought back another movie? Not like a remake, but, like, another movie, and then have gone on to make more subsequent movies? Like, I feel like they generally don't do too well.
Oh, you mean like they come back, but then they kind of one and done it?
Yeah. Like,
I mean, Star Wars is kind of like the exception to that, right?
Yeah. I feel like most things that try and make a sequel years and years later don't get an additional sequel. Like, I don't think Ghostbusters is getting another sequel.
Yeah, it is.
It is?
Yeah, Ghostbusters is getting a series.
Oh, a series.
But
okay.
I would argue that the fan response to Ghostbusters Afterlife was significantly better than the fan response to Matrix Resurrections.
Definitely.
Like, and here's the thing. I think that Matrix Resurrections did not do well with critics. But if it had done well with fans, even if it hadn't made money, because then they could have just blamed Omicron.
Yeah.
If it at least had the hardcore fans of the franchise behind it, it would be a different story.
Yeah, if people loved it.
I don't think people, and we haven't seen it yet, just full disclosure.
We were supposed to, and our tickets got canceled.
We were supposed to go to the Canadian premiere, and then our contact gave them to somebody else. That was the email we got, so thank you for that.
Yeah.
That felt great. That's not a joke. That is 100% what happened.
It was very sad.
Yeah.
It's fine.
And we don't know why. But the Matrix, and this is not me being salty about that. That is the Canadian distributor thing. That is not the movie.
Yeah.
I feel like fans of the franchise went into Matrix Resurrections, came out and went, it's fine, but it's whatever.
And a lot of people didn't like it. You know.
Ooh, Abby S in the chat coming in with the franchise Jurassic World.
Oh, I guess so.
Yeah. Jurassic World did, although, to be fair, how well those movies are received, questionable, but
I've only watched the first Jurassic Park movie. Mm-hmm.
I really like Jurassic World. I like the first one a lot. I think it's very fun. Well, no, this is Jurassic Park.
I know.
They are different franchises.
I know, it's just funny.
I really like Jurassic World. I really did not like Fallen Kingdom.
Okay.
Mostly because, and this is very light spoilers, but the Fallen Kingdom introduces human cloning. And then that kind of noped me out of it a little bit, the way that is handled.
Fair. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So, but Jurassic Park did have a second franchise. Although, interestingly, I think what Jurassic Park did differently than what Matrix did or what Dumb and Dumber did or those kind of movies is they brought back a different cast and told a different story. Like, Jurassic World is in the world of Jurassic Park, but it is a completely different cast. The original one, other than the doctor, the geneticist, it is a completely different cast with Chris Pratt and Bryce Dallas Howard leading, as opposed to Matrix, which brings back Keanu Reeves and Carrie-Anne Moss, which is a huge selling point to me, but...
Yeah, and here's the thing. I still want to see Matrix 4 just because of them. Mm-hmm. That's it. I'm not anticipating that I'm going to love it, especially the way it's been received. But I just want to see them together in a movie again.
I feel like part of the problem with The Matrix, in my opinion, is that the first movie changed the world. Like, literally changed how action movies are made, right? Mm-hmm. And became the gold standard for action in movies for a while. And when you do that, every subsequent film gets compared to, well, did this one change the world? And it's impossible to do that twice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I feel like the Wachowskis created a scenario where they put themselves kind of in this weird corner of how do we deal with the comparison to a film that is quite literally groundbreaking.
Yeah.
Because, Neo breaks the ground when he flies, but also, like, metaphorically groundbreaking in so many ways as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Franken Beans brings up how Avatar is going to do in December.
Oh, man.
Because technically, just a sequel that they've been working on forever.
Yeah, it's just taken them a long time. It's not like 20 years later like The Matrix. But I don't know. There's a lot of love. There's a lot of love for Avatar that I think that people are going to go see it when it opens, as long as it's safe. Like, I think people will see it when it opens, and then everybody else who's not, like, dying to see it will wait to hear what people are saying about it, whether or not it's worth the money, right? Because isn't that how Avatar did so well the first time around, is that people wouldn't shut up about this movie? Because I remember I saw it in California. It came out while my family was vacationing in Disneyland, and we went and saw a movie because that, like, everyone was talking about it, right? And that was probably the first time, other than maybe a Harry Potter movie, that was the first time I remember an audience clapping. I think maybe it's because it's more of a United States thing than it is a Canadian thing. But I remember, I was like,
it is a war it is an American military propaganda film.
Yeah.
And well, no, because they're treated as the villains. It is weird.
It's weird. It's
a weird movie.
The message in there is interesting.
I think that, Avatar gets a bad rap among, like, online film communities.
Okay.
So, like film bros online all hate Avatar, and I think that for that reason, not hate it, but it's fine. The plotting of it is fine, right? But I think that is, and so because of that, they say that, like, oh well, the movie Avatar 2 is not going to do well because among everyone I talk to doesn't like it. I think that if you were to zoom out and look at, like, the general public and their response to Avatar, I think there are plenty of people who just enjoyed watching it and would happily go see a sequel if the trailers look good. Right? And I think that that's most people. And so I think that Avatar 2 has a real shot at having a huge...
I mean, I'll go see it. I haven't seen the first one in a while, but I remember liking it. And so, yeah, I would go see it, right?
I do think that if you look at James Cameron's track record, if you bet against James Cameron, you tend to lose. There's the 3 top grossing movies of all time, and he directed 2 of them.
Yeah.
He also directed Terminator 2 and Aliens. So, like, barring the Transformers movie, or not, sorry, that's Michael Bay. Barring the other stuff that he's done.
The other Terminator movies?
No, he didn't do all of them.
He didn't do all of them? Okay, I wasn't sure.
But barring the other stuff James Cameron has done, James Cameron has made money.
Yeah.
Really consistently.
Yeah.
And don't bet against him.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
He managed to turn the Titanic into the highest grossing movie of all time. That's not nothing.
Which is not, like, that movie's not even great. Like, I don't know how he did it. I really don't. It's so long as well.
I think in 1996 it was, like, the greatest thing ever, though. Also, Celine Dion's song.
Sure. The song is a bop.
What you do is you get the greatest singer in Canadian history. And you get her to put out a banger.
Yeah.
And then you play that song like 9 times in the course of the movie.
Yeah. Yeah, that'll do it. I don't know. I watched it once as a kid, and then I watched it once as, like, a 20-something-year-old, and I was like, he didn't have to die. But anyways.
In other news, unfortunately, it does not look like Encanto is going to cross the 100 million domestic mark. Partially because it's already on Disney Plus. But it did rake in $92 million in its theatrical run so far.
Not bad.
And in other flop news, since we last did the morning show, I did want to talk about West Side Story, which won some Golden Globes earlier. We're going to talk about the Golden Globes later in the show, but it did manage to win some Golden Globes, but a huge financial disappointment.
Really?
Yeah, only $32 million so far.
Sorry, I have to sneeze.
I can tell.
It won't come out. We wanted to go see West Side Story.
Yeah, we were going to
until all of this happened.
Omicron.
Well, and it's interesting because I haven't heard a bad thing about the movie. So I don't really understand why it didn't do well.
Well, there's a few reasons. I think that
Omicron.
Omicron is one. I think that there is there are some very like understanding questions about what is going on with the Ansel Elgort situation and what truth and validity there are to the allegations against him.
Right.
I think that there are people who are concerned and do not want to support Ansel Elgort after the allegations have been made against him, and I think that that's fair.
Yeah, it's just really unfair to the rest of his cast.
Yeah, it is a huge problem, right?
Yeah.
And I think that there were people talking about how much of the marketing for the movie tried not to push that he was in it.
Yeah. They tried to just
the lead of the
hide
film.
it.
I also think that there was a significant pushback from the Puerto Rican community about a lack of Puerto Rican representation in the cast. And I think that when that's half the film and that community doesn't show up...
The heart of the film.
Yeah. And, Rachel Ziegler did win the Golden Globe for the role of Maria last night. And I think that there are people within the Puerto Rican community who are happy that, Hispanic person won, but also question, like, well, but she's not Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
And, like, why not? Because, Steven Spielberg and the team did this huge audition in Puerto Rico. They did the show of that and then didn't cast someone from that. And I think that people had questions about why, and
that's valid.
There are going to be people who that is going to be a make or break for them. And I think that Omicron, Ansel Elgort, and the question of that heritage question together is probably a big part of the reason why a film that is so critically well received and loved by the people who do see it, has strong word of mouth, is affected this way.
Yeah, no, that is fair. The whole posturing of look at us, we're going around and holding auditions for things is never it never makes sense to me, because they always just end up casting an obvious choice, not from what they were looking for.
Well, and it's especially interesting to have two movies in the same year, because In the Heights was also a box office failure.
Yeah.
Be about the Hispanic community, and have Hispanic people cast, but be cast in a way that doesn't feel authentic to Hispanic cultures and, to the real Hispanic people that these movies are being marketed towards.
Yeah.
And seeing how their response to movies that are ostensibly full of people of color aren't full of the kinds of people of color that they feel should be telling those stories, and how that affects the box office poll. Yeah.
You're letting people down when you're not doing those stories justice.
Well, there's an authenticity question that sits at the heart of a lot of these things. And I think that part of the reason for the cultural shift in how we view this is social media has created a culture of authenticity. Everyone on social media is looking for creators to give them content that is authentic to themselves.
Yeah.
And we've become obsessed with that. So much so that when we find out someone is even a slight deviation on what they said in their social media profiles, that person with 100 million followers is suddenly a nobody.
Yeah.
Because we are obsessed, and we crave this turning authenticity into content.
Yeah.
And so I think that is blowing back on films that are trying to talk about culture that don't feel 100% authentic.
Yeah.
And that is a tough conversation for the people who make movies, because it isn't always easy to be authentic and I'm not trying to forgive anything. I'm just saying, when you have 2 hours to tell a story, there are sometimes things that have to give, and those compromises inherently reduce authenticity in a way.
Yeah, and I think plot-wise, sometimes there's nothing you can do about that. But in terms of casting, that's
Oh, I agree, yeah.
There are so many people in the world, and so many talented people. They could have found somebody.
But at the same time, they found Rachel Ziegler. They gave her a break, and she won a Golden Globe. So it's
yeah.
It is tough, right? Because it's not like she did a bad job.
Yeah.
Most people are saying she's absolutely perfect in the role.
Yeah.
And it is a more complicated conversation than I think is being had. Yeah. And I don't really know what the end of it is.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that we're going to get to a point where actors can't act at all. like you have to just be yourself on screen.
Yeah, no,
right? And
no.
because and I'm not advocating for or against that. I'm just saying like there is a conversation of, well, you're not this part of your character, so it's an inappropriate portrayal.
Yeah.
And it just becomes very it's starting to be a weird conversation sometimes.
Yes.
And I don't know how to participate in it, is what I want to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, me neither. Because for no other job can they ask you, like, can they hire you based on, like, personal things about yourself. But if you're an actor, all that goes right out the window.
Well, and I think that people forget that, right? I think that people forget that casting can't ask what your ethnicity is.
Yeah.
And, like, casting can't... There's this whole thing about actors being cast in gay roles who are, like, openly straight, right? I'll say openly straight. Maybe they're in the, you know... And there's a conversation about it where people are like, well, why didn't you just go cast gay actors? And my argument against that is that there's no... Actors do not owe the audience a explanation of their sexuality.
Yeah.
And so it's tough because you don't know who's straight and who's gay.
Yeah, you don't walk into the bank interview and they ask you what your sexuality is. Yeah. And so for acting is a job.
Yeah, there was a Viggo Mortensen movie recently where he played a gay man. And there was a reporter who asked him, and it was like, why do you feel comfortable playing a gay man as a straight man? And Viggo Mortensen's reply was, why do you think I'm a straight man?
Yeah.
And I was like, that is 100% fair. Like, there are things, and like, I know...
Because it's nobody's business.
I know someone who has done several productions of In the Heights, who is very much not Hispanic, but looks like they could be. And the reason why that's never been a problem is because production doesn't know that they're not Hispanic. Because you can't ask.
You can't. It's illegal.
You're not allowed to.
Yeah.
It is against the law. And so this expectation that productions are going to go find people that are perfect for these roles by violating labor laws to find out things about them, it becomes really complicated.
Yeah, it is really complicated because on the other side of that, you want diverse representation.
1,000%. No, right? Yeah.
And so that's why it's a really tough conversation to have because we haven't figured out the best way to go about all of this, right? We're figuring it out because we don't know. We really don't know.
Yeah, and it's hard to create a standard because I'm a member of SAG-AFTRA. And we have rules, like we have bylaws within our union about how casting works. And it is really hard to change those bylaws.
Yeah.
But those bylaws are there to create fairness. And those bylaws are there to protect the actors. And, there was the woman who sued IMDb because they put her age on her IMDb page.
Oh, really?
And she auditioned for younger parts. She looked a lot younger. And she sued to have her age removed from IMDb because they wouldn't do it. And she was saying, you're harming my ability to get jobs because I don't play 30-year-olds.
Right.
I play 20-year-olds.
Right.
And I do not want someone to look at my IMDb and find out that I'm 30.
Yeah.
It is, like, harmful to my career.
They will automatically be like, eh.
Now, is she lying? Is she a bad, like, actress for playing
younger?
20? Like,
no.
It just, it gets complicated.
I've auditioned for 15-year-olds.
Yeah.
Like...
And I don't want to be like one of those like actors should play anything. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all.
Yeah.
I am saying that I don't think that we have come up with the right way yet to handle this stuff. And it's going to take a little bit of cultural work as like a larger community to figure that out. And while that is happening, I think that we're going to see more flops like In the Heights and West Side Story and these films that are critically praised, but the audience just doesn't show up to them.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And it sucks because I'm like, I really want to see West Side Story. But yeah, there are these things that I
don't want to look at Ansel Elgort's face.
Yeah.
Can we just have Christopher Plummer CGI'd over him?
Perfect.
Rest in peace, Christopher Plummer.
That's what I need.
All right, let's move on. And let's talk about something else.
Great.
That was
the box office.
That was the box office. You want to talk about my favorite segment of the week, which is Clarus makes up the news.
I love your abbreviation for it.
It's been that way for like
but
a
I've never
year.
like stared at it before.
Oh, that's funny.
And it's
It's just the first letters.
I know it is, but it's very close to
Yeah, oh, I know. I thought that was funny too. All right, Clarus. Ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who are here for the first time, my wife is not good at improv, and so we make her do it every week in a segment that she should prepare for but never does. This is Clarus Makes Up the News.
I can't prepare for it. That defeats the purpose.
You could. There are no rules.
I could. Yeah.
Go.
Uh-huh. Cool. Well,
This must be the best segment for the audio listeners, because
Yeah.
I don't say that much, and we just kind of hear you go,
I'm just start doing my scales. Oh my god. I vote negative prepared. You know what?
Oh, she's negative prepared.
I am never prepared for anything. It's how I just like to live my life in fear. It's, keeps your heart active.
Yep.
God damn it.
Come on, make up something funny about something.
Right, no pressure.
Be hilarious.
Be funny. Comedy. Uh-huh. All right, what's coming out soon?
Jesus Christ.
What?
You could say anything. You could literally say anything. Just say anything.
Okay. The plot of Five Cream has been leaked. It comes out on Thursday. However, when you let people see it early, they're gonna talk about it. And that's the news. No, we know the plot of Five Cream, and
Okay.
they're really like leaning into this whole play on words thing. So you would think when you hear that, you're like, oh, okay, so it's gonna be about like cream. Okay, very funny. Ha ha ha. No, it's about language. It's about the English language and playing with words. Those things you learn in middle school, like onomatopoeia and metaphors, and the ones where alliteration. That's the other one. And Five Cream is about it's still a horror comedy movie, but the horror comes from being back in your middle school classroom, learning about the English language. Yeah. And then the comedy comes from the teacher likes to wear this really like silly mask when you get things wrong, and it's very funny. So if you're gonna go see Five Cream, it is about middle schoolers, just so you know. But it's not appropriate to bring your kids to.
All right, so since you brought up English language and you brought up some examples, can you give me an example of those three things? So what's an example of an onomatopoeia?
An onomatopoeia is like boom.
Okay.
Crash.
And can you give us an example of a metaphor?
A metaphor is when you compare one thing to another thing without using like or as. That
is the description of what a metaphor is,
Yes.
but that's not an example of a metaphor.
My heart is an icebox.
Oh, wow. That's because I make her do this segment. That's why she doesn't love me anymore. And then, all right, what was the third one you did? Alliteration. Give me an example of some solid alliteration.
Many mumbling mice.
All right.
My mother made me mash my M&Ms.
That is some good alliteration.
There you
That
go.
is some good alliteration.
Yeah.
From
That one is straight from the movie.
elementary school choir
That one is
class.
straight from the movie. Yeah. There is a choir class scene. It's really good.
And that is the plot of the upcoming Scream 5, otherwise known as Five Cream, as leaked by noted leaker Claris Dracaris.
No, I didn't leak it. I have a
You
source.
just said it on that. Yeah, but you're the leaker.
But someone told me about it, so I'm just
And
like...
then you said it on a live show on the internet.
No.
Wait.
No. That's not how this works.
Your Honor, I would like it known that
Somebody else told it to me
somebody
first.
else told it to me first.
You're welcome. You're welcome. That is my defense. I rest my case. Thank you.
I would just love a doctor in court being like, no, doctor, yes. Did I suffocate them with a pillow? Absolutely. But they'd been hit by a car already. So it's like, is that even my fault?
Yeah. Same
Jesus
thing.
Christ.
The
Right.
defense rests. Thank you.
We've brought it up a couple of times. Let's talk about Das Golden Globes.
There we go. That happened.
So, fun thing about the Golden Globes this year, I forgot about them.
Me too.
Because there was no advertisement.
No.
And usually there's so many ads, and the reason is they racist.
Yeah, that's pretty much
That's
it.
it. Yeah.
Last year people were like, wow, it's a bunch of white people. Great.
Not just white people. But the Hollywood Foreign Press Association didn't have any black people in it. And that was seen as very racist. I don't have another. I was trying to come up with another word, so I could just use that one again. But it was racist. And so
the lighter version of that is tone deaf, but the actual version of it is racist.
But it's not tone deaf. Tone deaf is like when you put out a statement that you don't understand is going to be viewed a certain way.
Yeah,
this is just racist.
Yeah.
The Golden Globes should have the representation behind the scenes, and hopefully next year they will, because I think the Hollywood Foreign Press Association is going to really regret how much money they didn't make this year in advertising.
Yeah.
So, there was no big ceremony on television, but we still got the awards, and these are indicators for how things might go at the Academy Awards later in the year. So let's talk about a couple things.
Yeah. Let's do it.
First of all,
we already talked about West Side Story.
West Side Story actually won both Best Actress and Best Supporting Actress.
For
Ariana DeBose, who is immensely talented. I've gotten to see her on stage before, and she's a bright light whenever you see her in anything. She did win for Best Supporting Actress. But notably, The Power of the Dog, the Benedict Cumberbatch movie that came out a while ago, won Best Motion Picture Drama, and West Side Story did take Best Motion Picture Musical or Comedy. So not a big surprise there. I think there was a lot of love for West Side Story as a musical, and The Power of the Dog. We're gonna have to watch that.
Yeah, because I love Benedict Cumberbatch. I don't know what this movie is about in the slightest. I don't know it at all. But now I do. Now I want to know.
Apparently, it's a Western where Benedict Cumberbatch has a American accent that is actually a good American accent, as opposed to his Doctor Strange voice, which is known as his Doctor Strange voice.
Is Doctor Strange not that bad?
That accent is... if you go into the accent dictionary for actors and you go to American accents, there is like American, Southern, California, Valley Girl, Doctor Strange. It's just its own. It's its own category.
Oh my god! Are you making up the news?
No, it's not that bad, but it's just funny. He gets ragged on it more than he deserves. And it is really funny in scenes in Spider-Man No Way Home. No spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home, but it is very funny when it's Benedict Cumberbatch and Tom Holland doing their American accents at each other.
Yeah.
And I would say Tom Holland's American accent is actually pretty remarkable.
It's super solid. There was like one or two words that I noticed. It was like, ooh. But that was it.
And watching him dive into it in interviews, love it. Will Smith won Best Performance by an Actor in a Motion Picture Drama for King Richard. As there's been some interesting conversations about whether or not that movie should have been made. I disagree with those conversations. Venus and Serena wanted to make a movie honoring their dad. They did, and it is an awards contender. So, I don't know.
Why shouldn't it have been made?
People are like, why would you make a movie about their dad and not about the two tennis stars? And then I'm like...
It's their dad.
They made a movie... They're proud of their dad? I don't know. Because it's an interesting story. I don't know.
All right.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. I also don't think that you should make a Venus and Serena movie while they're still alive. because they're going to put their hands in it and they're going to change the story to make it the way that they want it to be told. Like Queen did with Bohemian Rhapsody, which is not a good movie, despite an incredible performance.
Yeah, I heard they missed the mark on that one.
They made it seem like Queen were a bunch of like goody two-shoes, and Freddie Mercury was the bad boy, and that's not true.
Yeah.
There's literally a scene where Freddie's like, let's party. And then Queen's like, we've got to go home to our wives. And I was like, the hell you do?
Sure.
Sure thing, Queen.
Sure.
That's what happened.
It's like in Jersey Boys.
Yeah.
When Frankie's not in the brothel scene, because he's like, I can't have my family seeing this.
No, but it's 100% that.
Yeah.
Nicole Kidman won for being the Ricardos for her role as Lucy Liu. Not Lucy Liu.
I'm not sure. But
oh my god, I love
fantastic.
Lucy. It's Lucy. That Lucy. My mind's blanking. And then one I really want to talk about, Andrew Garfield won for Best Actor in a musical or comedy.
We have
for
to
Tick,
watch.
Tick, Boom.
We have to watch Tick Tick Boom now.
Yeah.
We have to. We've been wanting to, and just the time.
But Andrew Garfield is having like the year of his career.
Yeah, for
Truly.
reals. Like, with everything that's going on, like he's crushing it. He's crushing it, and people love him, and that matters.
Yeah, I mean, it really is kind of remarkable the resurgence his career is having this year. And not resurgence, he never went anywhere, but like this like new plateau that he seems to have hit.
He's so good though, and like he's really settled.
Yeah.
I think is the right word for it. You know, like he doesn't feel like a young doe-eyed, like I don't know. When he was in his like younger stuff, he's great in it. But now he feels comfortable. I think is a good way to describe it. And I cannot wait to see what else he does because he's very talented.
Yeah, Chad just reminded me it's Lucille Ball.
Nailed it.
It is so funny. All these things I know that as soon as we're in a show, it's like your brain just completely goes blank.
Yeah, he literally knows everything.
No, I don't. Not everything, just a lot of things. But I know Lucille Ball. Like,
I don't.
Really?
No.
Have you never seen I Love Lucy?
No.
God.
This is not the nightly morning show. This is where Nerdy finds out things his wife hasn't seen.
Lucille Ball is like the like cornerstone of women in comedy on television. Like she doesn't matter.
Don't watch a lot of comedy.
There's a bunch of other winners. The ones that I want to call out, Encanto won Best Animated Feature. Of course it did. That movie's fantastic. Hans Zimmer won Best Original Score for Dune.
Shocking.
Which I think is very well earned. The Dune score is incredible. And most of these we haven't seen. We haven't seen Succession. We haven't seen Pose. Jason Sudeikis won for Ted Lasso. Hell yeah. We haven't watched a lot of these. And so I'm really happy for all the winners. Oh Young-soo, who won Best Supporting Actor in Television for Squid Game.
Squid Game.
Really happy to see him win that. But
that was fantastic.
We haven't seen a lot of these. We will watch them soon because I am a member of SAG, so we'll get my screeners and we'll watch them all. But instead, I wanted to talk about our best of 2021. And it's the title of the video, and this was the big conversation I wanted to have with you, was our favorite things from 2021. The second year of lockdowns.
God.
But a year of lockdowns where things actually came out.
2020.1.
2020.1.
And we're now in 2020.2. And hopefully we'll get to 2023 eventually.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess we should just start. I wanted to start with what was your favorite movie of 2021?
So I think in terms of what affected me the most, I think it has to go to Shang-Chi. I think it's gotta. That movie just had me bawling. I thought it was so good, and I know that there's people out there who are like, meh on it. I thought it was fantastic, and I thought the visuals at the end were phenomenal. Like, that movie was just everything that I wanted it to be and more, and I was blown away. So yeah, I think it's gotta be Shang-Chi.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Do you have any runner-ups?
Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Spider-Man, definitely a big runner-up. My problem is I can never remember what came out at the beginning of the year. You know, like I'm trying to think of like, what did we watch at the beginning of 2021?
I just looked up a date for a future part of this conversation.
Yeah, so
I think that's tough, right? Like, I know a lot of people have like Zack Snyder's Justice League on their list for the year.
You're wrong.
I know that you don't like it. It's not on my best of, but I did like it. But to me, Zack Snyder's Justice League feels like it came out 2 years ago.
Yeah, it does.
Like, it's hard to think of that movie as a 2021 film.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
I definitely think my top movie of the year is Spider-Man No Way Home. I haven't cried in a movie as hard as I did in that one in a long time. But I would really also like to throw in Encanto as a runner-up.
Interesting. We were not hot on the trailers. And
we did not. I didn't like the marketing. But can I explain that?
Of course you can.
The marketing for that movie was telling this story of this girl who goes on an adventure by herself, despite the fact that she doesn't have superpowers, right? And the trailers kept pushing this concept of, oh, Mirabelle, you're the only one that can save our family. And like that line is thrown in the trailers a lot.
Yeah.
And then when I saw, and I didn't like it, I was like, there's no antagonist, there's no like, what is going on in these trailers? What kind of story are you trying to sell me?
Yeah.
And so
they're so unclear.
We tried to go see the movie at a local cinema. Because we wanted to see it in theaters, right? Like, I love seeing Disney animation in theaters. Those movies are always gorgeous on the big screen. And so we went to go see it, and our local theater we sat down, and the sound was so bad that when the songs were playing, you couldn't understand any of the consonants in the lyrics, and it was awful. So we left.
It was so
we walked out.
Bad.
We got our money back. We left. Very disappointed because I wanted to see it, and the parts of the movie that I could understand in that first screening, I really did like.
Yeah.
So we did walk out of Encanto, but not because of quality, because of sound quality.
Yeah.
And so we, the day that it dropped on Disney Plus, because everything closed down and we didn't have a chance to go see it again, we sat down and we watched it. And the movie isn't about Mirabelle going on a journey by herself. The movie is about the interpersonal relationships in a large family. And if they had put that in the trailers, the movie would have made so much more money. Because it was a Thanksgiving movie. This movie came out for Thanksgiving, and the marketing for it was along with this girl on her big adventure, but they didn't get to show an adventure because there isn't one in the movie. And so they were selling something that wasn't there. And if they had just made the trailers interpersonal conflict in a family that is figuring it out together, I think that movie would have done gangbusters at the box office. And now that I've seen it, I'm so disappointed that it was marketed the way that it was, because it didn't make money. Encanto should have easily cleared $100 million, right? It came out when things were still open. It came out pre-Omicron. That movie should have done well, and I honestly think it didn't because of the marketing. I don't think they sold it to the caliber of the film that it is.
Yeah.
And I find it disappointing because I think that it's beautiful. And when we first watched it, it ended and I was like, oh, that was really good and not what I expected. I wouldn't have put it on my best of list then. But I can't stop thinking about it.
Yeah.
Like, Encanto, of the movies, Encanto and Spider-Man to me are the two movies this year that I still am thinking about constantly. The messages and the themes and the subtext of those films. And I just think Encanto, it will absolutely win Best Animated Feature at the Oscars. I think it is an incredible film. I think it is a beautiful film. I think the songs are great. I really can't speak highly enough of it. And I hope that it is doing just gangbusters on Disney Plus. Because it deserves it. It really deserves to be seen, and I'm so glad it's blowing up on TikTok. I'm so glad people are finding it. Yeah. But people should have found it in the box office, and the reason they didn't is the marketing. They tried to market it like it was Moana, and it's not Moana.
No, it's not. It's not. It's a smaller scale story, and they didn't know how to portray that, right? Moana literally has to save her entire island from being destroyed by a lava monster. You know what I mean? Like. Yeah. It's, you know, and this story is about people and family, and it's so much smaller, but it's Smaller is not the right word because it matters.
The stakes are smaller though.
Yeah.
But they're just as big personally.
Yeah, but I agree. I like when I turned the movie off, I was kind of like, oh, and it wasn't like wow. I wasn't like holy crap, that was amazing. I like had to take some time to really think about it to appreciate it. I think. Yeah. And I think that's the mark of a good movie, to be honest. If you don't quite get everything right away, that's not a bad thing.
Yeah, and I think that like the emotional impact of Encanto hitting so hard days later really is to the credit of the filmmakers. Because I think that it isn't There is a lot of beautiful stuff on the surface of Encanto, but what's really beautiful in Encanto is what's underneath the surface in terms of the storytelling and in terms of the style of movie that they're making. And I was blown away by it. I really was. I think about it a lot. I sit and think about it a lot. I made a TikTok about it that I think is very funny, but I hope I don't get in trouble for. Some people are throwing their favorite movies in the chat. Sir Jimeris, I hope I pronounced that right, says Dune is easily their favorite movie of the year. Immense cinematic experience.
I was so disappointed by Dune because I had read the book and then went and saw the movie basically right after, and I was very disappointed by it. It was the most beautiful movie I've ever seen, but I have some problems with Dune, but I can understand why people love it.
Yeah, I like Dune. I think that I could love it once part 2 comes out. But I'm one of those people where, like, when I only get one part, it's tough for me to love a movie.
Yeah.
Because I always feel the, like, narrative hinge that it sits on.
Yeah.
And Dune, for me, really, really sits on that hinge. Because it's so long and doesn't really satisfy anything. That, like, if part 2 hits it out of the park and I can see the whole arc, I might be like, okay, it's perfect. But it is tough for me. It's tough for me when you give me a part 1. I'm worried about Across the Spider-Verse next year, the Spider-Man movie, because it's Across the Spider-Verse part 1.
Yeah.
And part 1's for me, it's different in a trilogy where each movie, or even in duologies where each movie has its own story.
Yeah.
But Dune...
But if it feels like one half of a thing that's incomplete and you need something at the end of the movie. You need some kind of resolution, something.
And the thing I like about Dune had just started at the end of the movie.
Yeah.
Like what I find, because I don't find the beginning of Dune super interesting. It's just setup. It is once, and to be fair, the only complete version I've seen of Dune is David Lynch's Dune, and I love that movie. It's after the big battle that the premise gets interesting to me.
Yeah.
Because up until then, they're all just talking about a battle they know is coming. And I'm like, if you all know it's coming, be more prepared. So...
Yeah. Also, the battle made no... Anyways. Yeah.
They get to the part that I like. And then it ends. And I'm like, wait, no, this is... No, we were finally here.
Yeah.
We finally got to it.
Yeah.
Half-Blood Tar is saying Spider-Man is their favorite movie of the year. If anyone else has any other favorite movies of the year, drop them in the chat. But let's...
Oh, we haven't watched Arcane yet.
No, let's talk about TV.
Okay.
Favorite TV of 2021.
Okay, we haven't watched Arcane yet. We're going to. It won't be my favorite of 2021 because I know what my favorite is. And Arcane would have to be one of the greatest shows of all time to beat this. Okay.
What do you think my favorite show of 2021 is?
Invincible?
Nope. Although, runner-up.
I know, I forgot that Invincible came out this year.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, that was like really, really good.
It was the biggest show of 2021. Like, global hit. Can you figure it out?
The biggest show?
The reason I don't think you're going to get it is because it was a while ago, and I don't know if you'll think that it's a 2021 show.
Oh, The Mandalorian.
Nope. That was 2020.
That was 2020. No, I don't.
Squid Game.
Oh,
Squid Game came out in 2021.
Oh, right. Of course it did. It came out like over the summer, didn't it?
But that was why I was challenging you there, was because not because I didn't think that you would think Squid Game, but because I think that doesn't it feel like it was forever ago?
Yeah.
Squid Game by far my favorite show of the year.
Yeah.
I think Squid Game was a masterpiece. Like that show to me just And there's so many runner-ups. I loved all the Marvel TV. I loved Invincible. I loved Wheel of Time. Obviously, like we're talking about Wheel of Time all the time now.
Yeah, the finale kind of knocked it down, though.
Yeah, but Squid Game to me changed my view of Korean television. I suddenly have an interest in Korean television. You know what I mean? Like, I really do. I love that show, and I really, 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 I really, really was blown away by it.
Yeah, that's tough for me because now I'm like, that might also be. So when I was first thinking about my favorite shows from 2020, I was like trying to remember everything that happened, and I was like, okay, I think it's WandaVision.
Yeah, fair. WandaVision's fantastic.
And then someone reminded me Invincible came out, and I was like, oh, right. That also happened. But you're saying Squid Game, and I think it might be that. They're like that and WandaVision. I was like waiting for the next episode. And we didn't even need to wait for Squid Game. It was just time. Like, we just needed to have enough time. But we just kept, like, putting it on and playing it. Because we were like, this is so good. We want to get through it.
People are saying Arcane is just as good as Squid Game. That's exciting.
All right. Okay.
We're definitely going to watch that this week.
Yeah.
Jalen Bennett says their favorite movie from last year was Free Guy.
Good choice.
You know what? Honestly.
Good choice. Free Guy was fantastic.
Amazing film. Like, like Free Guy had no right to be as good as it was. Considering, like, the premise, like, it had to overcome so much of the, like, so much. Talking about IP is tough nowadays. It is an overplayed comedic genre. And to take that and still make something so fantastic and so warm, like Free Guy feels like getting hugged by a movie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And incredible film.
It's interesting because we can't talk about it yet, but technically Boba Fett is a 2021 show, right?
Yeah.
But it's not done yet, so we can't even.
I would say the majority of it will come out in 2022, so I'll probably talk about it next year.
Yeah.
If it ends up being good. I love it so far. They could mess it up.
Yeah.
Some people are saying Loki. I didn't like the end of Loki.
I have opinions.
I didn't like the finale. I felt like the finale wasn't enough about the show.
We have full spoiler chats on most of these. So if you do, like, you know, if you do want to hear our more in-depth thoughts about, you know, like, that is available. I don't want to take up all of the morning show time for that, right? But yeah, there was some good stuff this year, and there was some not so good stuff.
So that's most of the TV stuff that we watched. Wheel of Time. Oh, Witcher Season 2 was a huge improvement on Witcher Season 1. So I want to shout them out for that, because I think that Witcher Season 2 is pretty fantastic. It
was rough, and then it got better.
Yeah, the first couple episodes are rough, but then 3 through the end is pretty awesome.
3, nah.
Well, you don't like 3. 4 through the end.
The second half of the season, well done.
Yeah, I really liked Witcher Season 2 overall, though.
Yeah.
I think that they took some, you know, there's some insanity in terms of how people get around. But other than that, like, for the most part, I don't like the Eskel choice, but the other stuff, I really enjoyed it. And the finale is incredible, so I'm very excited for Season 3.
Yeah.
Is there any best game of 2021?
I didn't play any game that came out in 2021
except It Takes Two.
It Takes Two. So can I pick a game that, like, I've just played this year?
The only game you've played this year is Witcher 3.
Not the only game. I played Stardew Valley.
Oh, is that your favorite of the year? That's like a 2020 game. I think that's new enough you can say it's your favorite game.
Stardew Valley? No, Stardew Valley's been out for years.
Has it?
Yeah, Stardew Valley's been out for a while.
I started hearing about Stardew Valley this year. I'd never heard of it before.
Yeah, no, Stardew Valley is at least a few years old, as far as I know. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but I love Stardew Valley, and I have really loved The Witcher, and I haven't really played many more games than that. So.
I would say my favorite of the year is definitely Metroid Dread. I think Metroid Dread was a just two-dimensional masterpiece. Obviously, there's a lot of 3D elements in it, but I think Metroid Dread just blew me away. I didn't know how much I missed two-dimensional Metroid until I picked that game up. And, you know, I've been waiting for Metroid Prime. You know, I've been waiting for that 3D Metroid game like everybody else. and thinking that Metroid 2D was just kind of a thing of the past and that I wouldn't get as excited for that anymore. And then I spent my 9 hours in that game, and it was the most tense and the most exciting and the most exhilarating, and it just, like, the emotions were all over the map. And I just think they absolutely crushed it. I love that game a lot. It's beautiful. What they do with 2 dimensions, and I was watching a video explaining how the camera moved to help the, like, 3-dimensional stuff in the back of the scenes look, and I was really, really struck by that game this year. What did I play any other new games in 2021?
You played...
New Pokemon Snap was really great. Not my game of the year, but definitely great.
You played some Deathloop?
Deathloop is good. I don't think it was my... Yeah, it's good. I kind of stopped playing it, which is kind of a testament to me that it didn't really grab me. I do want to beat it.
You played Miles Morales, even though that's
a 2020
game.
Yeah, Miles Morales is fantastic. But it's not a full game. It's like...
Yeah.
Miles Morales is like an extended teaser for Spider-Man 2. Although I did cry, so, like, it got me. I'm very excited for Spider-Man 2, though. Yeah. All right. That is our best of 2021, I think. Is there any other categories? We didn't read any new books.
No, unfortunately.
What else? Is there anything in 2021 we should, like, put to bed before we move on?
I don't think so.
Oh, Jay Abbott. You do have a favorite game from 2021. Subnautica Below Zero came out this year.
Was that
That was in
year?
February.
Oh my. Look, I love Subnautica Below Zero, but I guess it just didn't stick out in my head because I liked the first one better.
Okay, but
I did really...
Is it not your favorite game of 2021?
Yeah, I like that better than It Takes Two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
It Takes Two is fine.
Yeah.
I don't think It Takes... The hype of It Takes Two did not live up to me. I did not think it should have won Game of the Year, personally. But that's my taste.
Yeah.
We read Eye of the World. Type in...
That's 2022.
Eye of the World was written in 1990. I don't know if you know this. It's 32 years old. It's not new. My favorite movie from 2021 was The Graduate from 1970.
Well, if we're doing that, man, what did I catch up on?
Most things, because you've never seen anything before you dated me.
That's true.
Jesus. Y'all, I feel like I'm like taking... I'm a Sherpa, and I am helping the Clarus climb the content
A
Everest.
Sherpa?
Yeah, a Sherpa is like
The fabric?
No, a Sherpa is like a person who helps you guide you up Everest.
Oh.
Yeah, it's like a person you hire. There are people... It's like... I'm not crazy, right?
A tour guide?
No.
No.
Everest is not a tourist destination. It's a climb.
Can't you go... Okay, I mean, to the top, I guess. But, like, I'm sure people visit, like... There's gotta be, like, a little town at the base of Everest where people are like, that's Everest. Right?
It's called Base Camp, I think.
I don't know.
Nerdy declares, I can show you the world. Abby says their favorite game was Pokemon Snap. It is great. And favorite board game was Bristol. We'll have to try Bristol.
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't get around to playing as many board games as we wanted to.
Interesting. John Long, last name, brings up Midnight Mass television show. We did not watch it, but it has one of my favorite actors, Raul Coley, in it. And we should watch it, but it has vampires, so maybe I'll watch it on my own.
I like vampires. I just don't like horror.
It's kind of horror-y. Lots of people talking about Disco Elysium, which I haven't picked up yet, but I've heard good things about.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm the first person to pronounce your name right, Jay Allen. That makes me feel good. Sherpa is a guide and baggage carrier. I don't think they would like to be called baggage carriers.
I don't know. Like, I have... The only time I've ever heard the word Sherpa is, like, when Lululemon puts out their, like, Sherpa hoodies and coats. I don't, like... I've never heard that as, like, a job or a person.
I think the reason I know that is there was this, like, series of young adult books back in the day. It was 9 books, and it was 3 trilogies, and one was Island... One was an island crash, one was Everest, and there was another one. And they were all these, like, teenagers, like, in these, like, crazy scenarios. Huh. And the, one of them is, like, these teenagers who climb Everest, and it's very fun. and ridiculous
Wow.
because it's very hard to do. Don't climb Everest. Just don't.
Yeah.
Just don't.
Don't follow your dreams, kids.
Look, don't climb Everest. There's no reason to.
Yeah, I mean, it's just ice up there.
It's been done.
It has been done.
Do something to help humanity.
Mm-hmm.
Sherpa is a guide in the Himalayas. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, see, I had literally no idea.
Eric Wilson is the author? I don't know, maybe. I haven't seen those books since I was a kid, but...
Interesting.
In Bristol... Abby's explained what this game Bristol is. In Bristol, you try to escape a town infected with Black Plague. If you get the plague, you want to ensure that everyone gets the plague. That is dark. That is so dark. That's too dark.
You're that asshole in the zombie apocalypse.
All right, y'all. It's time for the final segment of the morning show. Our news segment, which is called What Did We Miss? So if there's any news that you think that we should have talked about, that you think we should talk about now, throw it in the chat.
We added this segment because there were many times where things would happen in the middle of the show.
Mm-hmm.
As we were doing it, news would drop. And chat would then come in and be like, so this just happened. And so we wanted to add a segment for What Did We Miss? Which there might not be anything today. There might not. But there might be. So just in case.
Everyone's saying Arcane. We're going to watch Arcane.
No, we're going to.
We meant more news stories, not like shows that we missed, but there's a bunch of 2021 stuff that we missed.
I know.
So many movies, so many shows, and we're never going to get to them. We will get to Arcane.
And yet we watched Snake Eyes. Like, what a waste of time.
We watched a lot of bad movies in 2021.
Oh, God, I know.
Oh, the new Resident Evil was so bad. What a disappointment. And I love Resident Evil. I'm a big Resident Evil fan, but like, I really hate that movie the more I think about it.
I'm so sorry.
Did you hear about Bob? Yeah, we talked about him at the beginning of the show. Tara.
Yeah, we did a segment.
Yeah. Very sad. Crazy that he's 65, performed the night before, and then just dropped dead. Like, wild. And, so it's so sad for his family and his friends because, it's
awful.
I never want to say that any death is like worse than another because it's always awful when somebody dies. Mm-hmm. But having experienced both kinds of death, there is a difference than, being at someone's bedside in old age and it just kind of is time.
Yeah.
And just very suddenly finding out that your friend is just gone.
Yeah.
And there was no explanation. There's no rhyme or reason. It hits very different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's really awful.
Are you planning to watch Legends of Vox Machina? Nuckenfuts. I have no idea what that is. Yeah.
Don't know what that is.
Yeah. Jay Abbott agrees with me. It's a bad movie.
Snake Eyes was also the worst thing I have seen. Because Wonder Woman 84 was 2020. So.
I think Snake Eyes is better than Wonder Woman 84.
Yeah.
I would much rather watch Snake Eyes.
But that's what I mean. Yeah. Like Wonder Woman would take the cake if it came out in 2021.
Should we do our worst of 2021?
Worst of 2021. Snake Eyes.
What was the worst movie? Resident Evil is probably the worst movie I saw this year.
Mm-hmm.
Just because it was like no, actually, I think Snake Eyes is worse. Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it, so.
What was your favorite Twitch stream that you caught this year that wasn't your own? Or mine?
Why you gotta call me out like that?
What do you mean?
I don't watch enough Twitch.
That's fair.
I don't and it all blends. I'm like, I don't know. I can't differentiate.
Oh, Tython is saying it's the animated show Critical Role is putting out. We will watch that.
Oh,
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I really enjoyed your stream with Goblin and Twerk and Jeffers.
That was not my stream. That was Goblin's stream, so that counts.
That counts.
The late great Star Wars debate.
That was a lot of fun. Actually.
That was fun, yeah.
I enjoyed being there for that. That's tough for me though, because it's so hard for me to pick things out of streams.
It's tough because it's mostly D&D streams, right? Like my favorite streams are usually our friends' D&D streams or charity streams. I would also say Pokemon challenges. Mm-hmm. His Emerald Kaizo Elite Four run, that was an event to me.
Yeah.
The Elite Four battle, that was a crazy night.
Yeah.
I was like, babe, just leave me alone. I need like 5 hours.
Yeah. You're like, I'm focused. And I'm like, all right.
It was really fun. It was one of those things where like, that journey was so long for him, and watching that and then having that like epic conclusion go so well and be, go the way that it did. That was a fun stream.
Yeah.
Streams that weren't on the top of my list, anything that Twitch did itself, because Twitch makes it hard to want to be a Twitch streamer.
Yup. Twitch, get it together, please.
All right. So then, we have a segment on our book club on Fridays. Let's end the show with this.
Okay.
I want to know your high and your low of 2021. For those of you who don't know, we do this segment on the book club. Think about it while I talk.
Okay.
We do this segment on the book club because my family has a tradition that when we sit down and we share a meal, we do a segment called High Low. And a segment, it's real life. It's not called a segment at dinner.
No.
But we say the high of our day and the low of our day so that we can commiserate over the stuff that's tough and so that we can be there for each other and celebrate the stuff that's good. So, my question, what's your high and your low of 2021? Or do you want me to go first?
Do you know yours?
Yeah, I mean, my high, honestly, my high is probably finding the Wheel of Time community.
Yeah.
I think that has been the most, like, that was one of, like, the best parts of 2021, was starting Eye of the World and watching Wheel of Time and just kind of, like, the community that sprung up around it, I think has been such a fun kind of journey, and I love the community we found and the people that we're meeting because of it. So that's been really positive. I also think filming Malediction was a really big positive, getting to go make a movie in the woods with our friends.
Yeah.
Our first con together, Fan Expo, that was definitely a high.
Yeah.
The low was having colitis and literally spending 9 days with the most painful butt stuff you can imagine. That was definitely the low.
That's fair. I think that's valid.
I have a pretty good low. I know what it is.
Yep. Yeah.
I thought I was dying.
Man, those are all really good. I mean...
Eric, I am really sorry to hear about your dad's chemo, but I hope that it went well. And that,
Yeah, Oh, God. Okay, highs definitely, I don't know if I can pick just one. Right?
I didn't.
Right, yeah, because Con was amazing. Getting to make a movie was amazing. Also, getting hired for my first... real TV show role.
Yeah, that'll come out at some point.
Probably gonna be able to talk about that late February. Is my guess.
Clarice is gonna be on TV this year. She already filmed it, so she's gonna be on TV.
Yeah, so filming that was a big high. And oh man, there's so many things that and the Wheel of Time community.
Yeah.
And having a reason to dedicate time to reading again has been so nice.
Thanks, Robert Jordan.
I miss reading. Thank you.
And you're low. Oh, Eric, I'm so happy to hear that. I really am. That's awesome.
Good. That is good news.
Chemo is the worst, but when it works, it works. So it's tough.
You do what you gotta do.
Yeah. Oh man.
I think low, seeing you sick was really awful. Because we didn't know what was going on, so that sucked. But I think just having... Sorry
to interrupt you, but the moment that you had to leave when I was in the hospital, for me to go in the hospital and you couldn't stay, that was really tough.
Yeah, and I think that ties into my low, which is just COVID in general, right? Because of COVID, I wasn't allowed to be with you when you were sick and seeing a doctor for this scary thing that was happening. And so I am hoping that right now is the darkest before the light. The dawn is darkest. No, the night is darkest before the dawn, or however
exactly
that goes. I think that 2022 is going to bring a lot of relief to people. So I am very hopeful for that.
I hope so. Jabbit got COVID and a leg full of blood clots. I'm sorry about that. That's really tough. But I hope that you're feeling much better. And I hope that I hope that you're all feeling better from your lows and that you're having great highs. Abby S says,
Yeah.
the high was kayaking along pictured rock. Low was your father having severe COVID. Yeah, see, that's the thing. COVID is, I'm sorry to hear that, but COVID seems to be the thing that is just, it's giving a load to all of us.
Mm-hmm.
Professor Spencer, we're happy to be
Yeah.
your favorite nerdy couple. Thank you for that.
Thank you.
And y'all, on that, I just want to say that's going to be the end of the show because
I'm streaming.
it's
later.
been an hour and a half. This show used to be 45 minutes.
I remember that.
And we don't do 45-minute shows anymore because we like to talk.
Yep.
No, but can I be honest?
Yeah.
My real high of 2021, the last thing I want to say, is that my real high of 2021 was getting to the point where you and I are making content together, because my favorite thing to do is make content with you, where this is our job, and we're full-time, and this is how we make a living, and we work together, and just waking up every day and talk and making plans with you and working with you and making morning shows and book clubs
Yeah.
and spoiler chats and just enjoying nerdy content with you has been the high of the year without a doubt. And that's what we were doing a year ago, but we were much less good at it. And so I that's where I want to end the show today, is just by saying I love you a lot. I'm very, very grateful to be married to you. And our first full year as a married couple was an absolute banger of a success.
Hell yeah.
And
Crushed it, except for the anniversary part, but that's fine. We'll just do it twice next year. This year.
But yeah, that's the big thing for me, was that this year was the year that you and I kind of really settled into our own thing. And we're making it happen together, and that's the joy of my life. So I just want to say thank you for that.
I love you.
I love you more. All right, y'all. Let's get out of here because Clarus has to play some Witcher 3 later over on her stream over at twitch.tv/ClarusJacars. You can also follow me at twitch.tv/nerdynightly. If you're here in our live chat, thank you so much. Y'all are beautiful people. We will be back with another live here on the YouTube on Friday. We are going to be doing Nerdy Wordy Book Club. This week it is Eye of the World, the first book in Robert Jordan's Wheel of Time series. We are adding a chapter, though, because everyone demanded it. So this week it will be chapters 27 through 40. So read until the end of chapter 40 with us. Come back on Friday for that. And anything else we need to talk about?
No, except that we do have a new member badge coming for those YouTube members. We're gonna update that this week. So
we do have a new member badge. Members of the YouTube, you've already seen it. That member badge also might end up being an emote on Twitch because it's super cute.
It might be, yeah. I think it will.
All right, y'all. Until next time, do something nerdy tonight. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, that's